Well, good evening, good evening, good evening. Let's get this camera on. Hello, can you all hear me okay? Let's see what we've got going on. Yes, good, you can hear me. Fantastic. Yes, Bruford. Right, hello. My goodness me, look at this room fill. It's amazing. If it was actually my lounge, there wouldn't even be room for you all. Right, okay, well, I'm not sure if it's just me tonight or not, because Al is doesn't get back from his new job until about 6ish. So hopefully he might get back and hop in. Den is quite child busy today. Although, is that Den? Do I see Den in the audience there? Den, shall I bring you on stage? Bring you up. Here he is.
Hello.
Hello, how you going?
Yeah, busy. Sorry, man. I'm joining remotely. Have got to turn my camera.
Hey.
Joining remotely, so I'm just trying to bath for a child. But I saw your message and was like, I can't have him do it on his own again. I'm going to say hello, but I'm going to turn my video off now because
Yeah. Is it because you secretly realise that if I keep doing them on my own, eventually there will be literally no audience left? I will just drive people away or say something that gets us sued.
The second one is my biggest worry. Yeah.
Yeah, I can understand that. Lobster Gorn was hoping for a J Solo Power Hour. That sounds like the title of my sex tape. Nobody wants that.
You can have that, Lobster, absolutely, in about 5 minutes when I disappear to with my fatherly duty.
Amazing. So how is everybody? How are your Easters? Here we are. We're a week late, obviously, because of Easter. Or as I like to call it, Magic Jew Day. I'm allowed to say that because my father was Jewish. Well, he remained Jewish. He's an ex-person, not an ex-Jew. Right, one more month till you graduate, Pink. That is exciting. My goodness me. Then what happens? Do you have to actually go out into the world and get a job? Because that sounds very bad, I would say.
That's the easy bit.
Yeah, college is the easy bit, and then it just gets worse. Someone's waiting for Andy. Everyone's waiting for Andy.
You'll be waiting a long time.
You might be waiting a fair while. He's catching up. He's just had a few days off from his job. Happy birthday, Comic. Yeah, he's having a few days off from his job, and he went back today. I was talking to him about some music that I've just done for one of his games, and it took him most of the day to respond. And even then, he was like, "I'm really snowed," and I just don't think he's going to make it tonight. Oh, your birthday was on April the 9th. Happy birthday, Warden. There we go. Lots of happy birthdays happening in the chat there. That's excellent. Pink says, I graduated high school when I joined this group. Bloody hell. Amazing. I don't really know what age that is in America. I think that means you were 16 when you joined the group, and now you're graduating from university, which I think is 5 years later, is it? I don't know what high school goes up to. I don't really know a lot about the American school system, having, not gone there. But I'm going to say, Pink, that you're now about 21, 22 if you're finishing college. I think that's the age you would be in this country. Matt, that is one way to put it.
In which case, you're probably about 40.
Say again.
Unless you're Van Wilder, in which case you're probably about 40.
Pink says 18 back then. Oh, so you finish high school when you're 18 over there, not when you're 16 like here. Interesting. Yeah. Yeah, I think compulsory education now goes up to 18 in this country, which it didn't when I was younger. 16, you were allowed to stop. But I think you have to do your A-levels now. But you often go off to a separate college to do that, still in Britain. So, yeah, 22, 23.
You don't have to go to college.
Say again?
You don't have to go to college over here.
Don't you? Are you allowed to stop school at 16? I'm not sure you are,
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you are.
Not anymore. I think you have to either have an apprenticeship or go to college.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, right. Mind you, I did enjoy it. I went to Brooklands and had a really good time.
Yeah, I
Yes,
also
or Hov, you may not only can you ask questions, you may ask questions, and you are encouraged to ask questions, even though occasionally the answer may be, "I am absolutely not answering that question." So you do ask at your own risk. Really, don't ask anything that gets you banned. That would be bad. I don't do the banning, but I am in support of it. So
it's,
you
it's
know.
well, let's be honest, it's quite hard to get banned from our server.
It is. It is hard. You have to really get into politics or be really horribly offensive. And I think that the type of people who are that type don't really play our game. I think they're mainly playing COD and calling each other by racist epithets. You know. Yes, Matt. Den was worried Jay would say something bad because Den has known Jay for quite some time and knows exactly how bad that can go. Rago Newm can confirm it is really hard to get banned from here. Right, I do not want anyone to put challenge accepted. We're not going to all try and get banned. There were a few times you guys said the other word for cigarette. Oh yeah, of course, yeah, because over there that's a racial, that's a slur. Yeah, yeah, I know. Yeah, right. That when I smoked, that was. I mean, that's still an acceptable slang for cigarette over here.
Yeah, I
You
was going to say we'd
wouldn't call
still
a
say
person that. That would be absolutely dreadful. But right. Urumhoff has a question. I don't know if it was asked, but were there any cut scenes from the game that didn't make it in the game? There were lots of scenes cut from the scripts, some of which you can find on the server from the time loop. Many of the scenes were cut down in length after they were written, before they were shot. It was very rare we shot something and didn't use it, because by the time you get to shooting it, you're kind of spending quite a bit of money. And then to not put that in front of people, seems crazy to me. Can you think of any scene? Did we ever shoot a scene and then decide to just not use it, or did we always cut at? From what I can remember, all the cutting was done at the writing stage, and then once we shot stuff, can you think of anything we shot then that didn't go in? You're muted, of course.
No, I'm here. I'm here. No, I mean we shot. No, not really. We shot maybe a couple of bits for like adverts and stuff. Maybe we got in, but because we were single continuous take, and it took us so long to get what we needed, and we used every bit of footage in the game because we couldn't cheat. So there may have been some stuff for some adverts.
I bet Tommy Harris we shot more than we used.
Yeah,
like when we shot the advert, check your prostate advert. I shouldn't do that gesture when I say check your prostate.
Yeah, I mean all the adverts. To be fair, I think we probably had bits where we were selling off the company, and when he was really rich, like that advert, we shot loads of like actions on that.
Yeah, and obviously we shot many takes of each of the single continuous. Yeah. It was very rare that we hit it in first take. Like Pirates, we shot 13 times, I remember. The ones I remember best are Time Loop, because they were like shot right towards the end. And Bits of Your Life, I remember. Bits of Your Life, we did fly through. That cast were very slick. They did get a lot of things first, second, third take. Yeah, we shot Pirates so many times that that you can hear in their voices. That they're getting there. The first time we shot it, Andrea did the most harsh pirate voice ever, and then we realised, okay, we're going to have to do this a few times. Yeah, the dialogue was hard. It's a long scene. Yeah, we shot many scenes, many times. What again and again and again, and you just had to hope. Like we shot the musical, the third section of the musical, when you come back from Elvis. We shot that about 6 or 7 times, and that's like a choir, a bubble machine, and this or that. I mean, yeah, we got really good at going again. Going again. We got really good at it. Yeah, so we would always allow, like with Time Loop, we allowed half a day for each scene, which meant some days we had big changes to do, but we tried to avoid those. We tried to get them we'd do one that was in a fairly normal newsroom in the morning, or fairly normal costume in the morning, and then get them changed at lunchtime into the next set of costumes. So some lunchtimes were really, really hectic. Other lunchtimes were, very quiet. If we were doing 2 where they were quite like when we were shooting the missing scientist ones, we shot all 3 of those as one scene. That was quite a lot of fun because we had to cover them in ghost stuff and dust, and then we had to cover them in sort of water and stick lobsters on them all. That was quite good fun.
Yeah. Fortunately, we were in summertime at that point, weren't we? Because we had a bucket of water out on the balcony where we were shooting.
That's right.
Ready to drench them before they walked on, so they were ready and dripping. It was fortunately quite a warm day. Otherwise, those poor actors would have been freezing because all of the internal space for their entrance, they had to always enter from outside.
And we had to put plastic down, like you say, just for that, just to get them across to the set.
Just to get them onto the set, over all the electrics and the cables that I had running. But that was the one thing I do remember about the time loop was obviously I was still editing, texting on
Spooky.
So I was getting phone calls from Jay when he was posting after he'd rehearsed to then make my way over, and then I was sort of going into DOP mode.
Yeah.
In kind of videographer mode over there, watching on the going, that can work with that.
And there were some days there were some days we got very behind. Like there was a day when we were doing the what has now become known as the Dominati-verse, but was supposed to be the Star Trek Mirror Universe. We did that chair that they're on that's electrocuting them. The first version of that the producers had ordered, when it arrived, I absolutely hated it. And not only did I hate it, but it had been so difficult to get this thing in. We ended up using it in Shakespeare because it was one of the big wooden ones, which they were going to dress with loads of wires. But I hated it. So then we had to put up this shelf unit that looked more like a 1980s sci-fi prop than the wooden one did, and then dress it. Oh my God. And we didn't even start shooting on that. These 2 poor extras, those sort of insanely tall, sort of statuesque extras, we had those 2 girls, and we'd got them in at lunchtime and made them put on their fucking, black latex outfits. And then they just had to hang around for about 2 or 3 hours, and it was boiling. It was such a hot day, and they were so lovely about it. They could easily have said, "What is going on here?" and left. But they stuck around. They were brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Right, let's have a look back at this chat. We shot Pirate Verse 13 times. Okay, I don't remember that. That's too many hosts. Oh my God, 6, 7. No, leave it. That's it, 7. Right, 6 or 7 times. What is the name of the mayor of Bumley? Don't know. It's that dog, wasn't it? What was the name of the acting dog? Do you remember?
That was Mika. That was Emma's dog.
I do filmmaking in college. I feel reshooting the same scene 13 times very, very closely, yeah. I mean, more than that. The trouble is, Ray, right, the longer the scene, harder it is to get the perfect take. And obviously in not-for-broadcast, some of the scenes are 11, 12 minutes. So they're like little short plays. And you're hoping to get a play perfect, which cannot be done. Live theatre can't. You never get it perfect. You get close sometimes, but you don't get anywhere. Yeah, so it's very, very difficult. So yeah, in the end, you get to a point sometimes where you can see the actors are now so tired that it's kind of diminishing returns. Yeah, you're not going to get anything from them. Warden, should Jeremy Donaldson be in the top 10 best news anchor role models from all games? Well, I don't know, Warden. That's a very good question. I would hope so. How many are there?
There can't be tons, can there? So I probably will sneak into the top 10.
I would hope he'd be in the top 10. I'm trying to think of any others. News anchor role models from all games. I think Paul should be up there. I say it as a Bav supporter. Peanut Tea Fortescue, that's the name of the mayor. That's right. How Paul feels after being a pirate 13 times, yeah. I think it was Den's dog. Wow, DJ knows his law, look. Before you said it. It was
It
Den's
wasn't,
pot.
no, it wasn't mine. It was Emma's.
Emma's, yeah. Matt, feel this. I love how NFB decided to deny the whole "don't work with children or animals" thing. Yeah, we did. Yeah, it was a mistake. Every time we did it, it was a mistake. The children, not so bad. Gotta say, not too bad. Mr. Snogglehugs, quite a pleasant shoot. I let Al take charge of the kids. That made it easier. And animals, the mare was pretty good. The cats for cat football, not so much. They were a little more tricksy. We shot cat football more than once. First time we had to reshoot it because the set wasn't very good. Because we had a rubbish set and cats that didn't really give us much. And then the second time we shot in the cat cafe for God knows how many hours to get the 20 seconds that you see in that clip are the absolute best 20 seconds. Basically, here's what I've learned. Cats can't play football. It's a really stupid idea. It makes a really good joke until you try and film it, at which point you realise you've kind of screwed yourself. TADC 8 episode moment with electric chair. Don't really get that right, I'm sorry. The thrift store is this.
If we had AI back then, Jay, I tell you what, it would have looked incredible.
Oh, wouldn't it? We'd have just done cat football with AI and like absolutely declared it as well. It's so much better. It is Dave's colours. Yeah, it could be a Dave shirt. What happened to Megan in NNN and Nightly Show in Time Loop? From what I understand of Time Loop, from what I remember, not what I understand it all. If you play with televisual variants, the TV wire, you get variations of shows in other universes. So in the universe, in my mind, what's happened to Megan is either she never comes to prominence or she's done what Jeremy did and quit. She wouldn't be dumb enough to kill herself on the air or heroic enough to hold her off a standoff. She's far more pragmatic, is Megan. That's why she's a survivor in her own. I'm not saying she's not heroic, by the way. In many ways, her pragmatism plus her heroism is what brings down Julia at the end of the game in one of the endings. So, very important that. What happens to Megan in Nightly Show? There you go. I've tried to answer that. Okay, this is less of a question and more of challenging my opinion. Excellent, Lobster, let's go. I think it's good that Peter's death broadcast never happened and we got the reveal during Uprising. I think it works better as a surprise rather than a big twist announcement like Nukes. Yeah, maybe. Also, that would be quite a packed series of broadcasts. Jeremy's breakdown, Nukes. Yeah, then we'd have taken the episode break, Peter's death, which was also Christmas. It's got to be said, Peter's death was Christmas, which was why it was going to be called Leaders' Day. And it would have been not his death, his state funeral. Right? So he has this big funeral. Normally, a conspiracist would say that when the conspiracy kills someone, they always give them a very big state send-off to sort of go, oh, weren't they heroic? Now they're out the way. I think I would have wanted to echo that. So we were going to do like winter parades and his body like being laid in state or being paraded through the streets of the cities and people coming out. It was going to be hugely expensive. And what I was worried about was that it jumps to the uprising quite quickly if you don't have another level to show the building of the uprising. And I know Al and I, when we decided to crunch them together, partly for budgetary reasons, because we'd added lockdown, which obviously had cost money, we were worried that it was a bit much. Like you come back and, oh, Peter's dead and now here comes the uprising. So, but I do take your point, and I have to say, I have watched the game way more than 20 times too. And I've watched many people play it on YouTube. And now I feel like maybe we did remove some flab, right? Because there would have been other things in that across the last 3 broadcasts, which were originally going to be 4 broadcasts. Obviously, we lost 3 full sections from there. I can't even remember now what those sections would have been. I will have it in a spreadsheet somewhere, buried, but whatever they were, I don't miss them. So I would say you're right. Crunching it probably got rid of some flab. Like I said, I'm not unhappy with where we ended up. Orwell always used to say, if you can cut, cut. So, you know, who am I to argue with him? Should Jeremy Donaldson, not so sure he did take the studio hostage. Good point. He's not really a role model. I mean, it'd automatically make the top 10 if there's no other contest. Yes, true. The Cats were difficult, cat football. What was the inspiration for Mr. Snugglehugs? The name, the deadly toy. The deadly toy, what we wanted was a decision that you would make early in the game that would show you that everything you do could have consequences. So something as innocuous as not playing an ad. And at first it didn't used to have that, should we play this ad, post it on it. When we first demoed it, we just needed to sort of draw people in. We wanted something that would be funny, but black humor, really black humor, so we could mark out our tent. And I think a dangerous toy that hurts children, which you then play for comedy, that kind of lets you mark out your tent quite early, and enables you to say, we are going to be quite edgy, which that is. Also, when we'd written it, we'd found it really funny. Maybe we're just a bunch of sick puppies, but we had all found that very, very funny in-house. The reason I'm being vague as to the inspiration is I think it might have been Al's idea. I don't know who even came up with the name Mr. Snugglehugs. That could also have been Al. Feels like an Al kind of thing, that, to me. Bloody brilliant, though. And then very useful later on when the pandemic came. Furbies, yeah, that's another inspiration. Later on, when the pandemic came, they turned out to be insanely useful. So they were going to be a one-hit gag, but came back, and we ended up making a 3D, doing all the effects. Right. How many takes did you do in Time Loop for each segment? It depended. It depended entirely on how the cast did that day. Sometimes we did 1 or 2, very rarely. Usually about average 3. Sometimes 17, 18. If it goes wrong near the end, that's a kick-ass thing. If an error happens that you just can't get past, you have to go again. There's no way around it. If an actor stops, doesn't know their line, goes prompt. So if they're a bit shaky, they can paraphrase. But if they're really stuck, by Time Loop, we had big auto cue screens up in loads of places for people because they were having to learn so much so fast. And the same on Bits of Your Life, when it got to the big songs at the end, there were so many variants that we had those up on big screens as well. Which is how they would have done it back then. They'd have done it with cue cards. So actually having them look as if they're reading those screens from time to time is good. It's time. It works. Right, okay. Like what animal? Cat football doesn't work because cats aren't really easily trained, correct? It was the Time Loop wire TV TL was those TL. So what TL stands for? Remember what TL stands for. I don't think we had a TL loop. Right. I thought we had TV, televisual variants, linguistic something or other, L, which was Shakespearean language and pirate language and modern language, I believe. They're all themed. Anyway, Snugglehugs asked something else. Him in his glass coffin like Snow White. Yeah, that type of thing for Peter. Nightmare fuel as they come on the attack during the lockdown. Yes. Sorry I'm late. That's all right. Really nice to see you. Welcome aboard. Why Jeremy didn't fight, but I'm currently on the 20 past 6 notes, right? So we're not doing too bad here. Why Jeremy didn't fight back against NNN and Nightly Show on Time Loop? I think it's implied that he did, but he lost. The fact that he's still there means in this version of Jeremy isn't quite as foolhardily heroic maybe as our loved one is. Maybe Megan had a bit more of that, and he had a bit more of the pragmatism. He clearly, I think it's very clear on Nightly Show, particularly, that he hates it. I don't think it's hard to see that. I think they keep him on because he's popular, and he did fight back, and I think he talks to Jenny about it. Have a listen to one of the go through the Jennies in the breaks. I'm sure they talk about it. Who was your favourite character to write? See, he acted out afterwards. Oh, I see. Yeah, I get the question. Okay, also, hi, Ray. Hi, Ray. Who was your favourite character to write? I loved writing Jeff. God, I loved writing Jeff Algebra so much. There would be times when I was writing Jeff Algebra where I would literally gasp at the thing I'd just imagined him saying. And that, like, when I started writing, okay, so this is back in 1980 something, 1981, 2, I wrote my first play. For about the first 10 years of my writing life, I absolutely believed that you just say it and you reflect it, and if it's true, you just say it, and it doesn't matter, and if people find it offensive, so be it. Now, obviously, we don't live in those times anymore. We live in times where you can very easily lose your career if you type out and act out the wrong thing. I feel like I quite like characters that do that, so it's higher risk now. But I did enjoy Jeff Algebra because writing for him felt like writing when I was young, and I wasn't so humbled by the mob as I am now, shall we say. Okay, everyone's saying hello to Ray. I would rather remove lockdown to get the Peter Death broadcast. Yeah, me too. Definitely. Yeah, I mean, obviously lockdown was not planned. Lockdown happened when we had a lockdown and we had to either shoot something and keep making something, or pretty much lose momentum and maybe lose our publisher and not get anything out, you know, and then the game would have stopped after that first episode. So there was no, you know. Also, another thing that I remember is that most of the actors that we really adored didn't have any work. All their work collapsed. We were the only work going for a lot of them. Yeah, there were a lot of reasons. But yeah, the money that was spent on lockdown possibly might have been spent to get the Peter Death broadcast. But it could have been that by the time we reached there, we might have gone, actually 3 episodes is enough to spin up and shoot. So it might have ended up being 9, you know. You never know what's going to happen on the road you didn't travel. In some universe, both of those things have happened. Who took over Alex's original position as cleaner? Great question. That is a really good question. Who was the boss before Bozeman? I don't know. Just seen that that's a response to that. Don't know, Fiona. I bet Andy's got an idea of an answer for that. Who took over Alex's original position as cleaner? Well, I don't think anyone. I have a feeling they just bought one of those little robot things, and it went, oh, it's the 80s. Dave? You reckon Dave? Nah, he wouldn't have come back. He was really happy in San Palmerino, you know, until that one day. Man, I've missed you guys. Yeah, we missed you too, Okay, that cleaning lady from Time Loop. Yeah. Oh, yeah, the clean lady from Time Loop. But she was doing the studio. I don't think they'd let her up in the broadcast room. It was TA wire, temporal attunement. That's right. Yeah, you're traveling backwards and forwards in time. And I must have used dramatic license to swap Megan out. The reason those scenes are there, right, meta level, DJ, is that I wanted to see how Jeremy would be in the NNN with Stacey and how he would be in the Nightly Show. So we were jumping forwards and backwards in time, of course, without altering reality too much. But yeah, that's why they were there. I don't have a more narrative answer anymore, sorry. Nightly Show is my second favourite universe for the subtle Julia and Jeremy interactions. thank you. Fun fact, I created Jeff Algebra as D&D math wizard. Good luck. I hope he offended everyone else in the party and they left him tied to a stump outside a meadow somewhere. Keep putting flowers in until it feels like 12. Yeah, Alex wrote that. That's a superb line. I wish I'd written that. He loved writing for Jeff as well. We both did. I'm still saving up to play some of the DLCs. Yeah, fair enough. Waiting for my partner to finish NFB before I buy any more. Yeah, and play them together. Good fun. People saying hello to Flux. Hey, Flux. Nice to see you. Hope you're keeping well. I'll be in touch with you privately soon about a matter of playtesting. Lobster Gorn. Okay, here's a question. Why does Katie become the next advanced leader of Advanced if Julia is exposed? She's just an economist and a political commentator. And a follow-up question. Katie doesn't appear in any of the conclusions if Alan survives. Does this mean that she dies if Alan lives, or there wasn't any good place to put her in? I mean, possibly that second half. Okay, I wish, again, this one is more of an Al question because Al wrote the epilogues, so I don't want what I say must be taken as just my guess. If Al were here, he would give you definitely a more accurate answer. But my thinking is Katie throughout the game has represented the reasonable voice, right? She's like Julia in that she believes in doing good for the many, but she's not like Julia in that she's very much more peaceful and not as ruthless and cold as Julia. She obviously isn't like Alan because we see very much them put up against each other, but she comes over, and I think the sympathy she would have got as a political prisoner, by the way, if Disrupt, in my opinion, if Disrupt are not defeated that night, then Katie probably never gets out of that chair from which we see her hostage video, right? Because Disrupt don't want people like Katie. Rational, popular, left-leaning. That's not good, right? So I think the Disrupt would mean that she doesn't live that long. But if Disrupt are brought down, or not brought down, but weakened, or brought down, then there is a good chance that she has survived. And that's the type, because that is the type of society we've ended up with, where Disrupt have been brought down. And therefore, as somebody who has been both a trusted voice, but also has been, she's a newsreader who has become the story when she gets held hostage by Disrupt. That gives her enormous credibility, being held hostage by Disrupt. Julia is too extreme. Usually once you've had a lot of extremes in your country, you tend to go middle ground. So there you go, that's my answer. But as I say, Al may have another answer, and it could have been that there just wasn't a good place. We couldn't shoot every possible epilogue, obviously. Do Channel 1 employees play the game ass in front of Bozeman? The rule is someone misters ass, and the next person says ass a little louder, increasing the volume each time until the players are detected by their surroundings and boss. And 4 of you think the answer to that is yes. I think Bozeman probably plays that as well, board meetings. I think that Bozeman is kind of brilliant, right? It's my take on Bozeman. I think he keeps the news department protected. He understands how important it is to have an annoying little man like Jeremy because of his dedication to the truth. He sees something in Megan, you know. Big Chris I've just seen has arrived. So, yeah, that's my answer, by the way, to ass. I think they probably do play it. But I think they like him. So Bozeman probably plays it with them in front of other more prickish people. Chris says, if you cared about us that much, you would have paid us more than fucking cough sweets. Yes. It was exploitation, Chris, you're right. But you came from a background of theatre, and therefore your agent was happy to accept cough sweets. To be fair, mate, it was just you. I think it's time to come clean. I think Den would want me to admit it. He's not here now. You're the only one that we paid in cough sweets. Everyone else, that they asked for cash. Yeah, sorry. Right, let's see if you... Speed, right, let's just move forward. If Dave's happy and some. Oh, you're still in the chat, Chris. If you want to come up, do a hand raise or something. I don't know how you do a hand raise, but if you want to be in the chat, if you've got a mic and a, camera, and if not, feel free to continue sniping in the chat because I will be reading it all. Right. Oh my God, so happy you did it. Love interaction between Jeremy and Stacey. Yeah, me too. I loved that interaction as well. Who are Sam's parents and what about them? I don't know. Nothing about them. We only ever hear of Alex's. We only ever hear of yours. Keeping very well, thanks. I hope you're too. Yeah, glad to hear it, Flux. Always very good to hear you're well. It's important doing 10 seconds. Oh, hello, Chris.
Hello, mate.
How you doing?
I'm cooking dinner.
Oh, yeah. I didn't bring you up here. You must have moved yourself up here.
No, someone invited me.
Oh, that's brilliant. That's fantastic. I didn't know.
It popped up saying someone invited you to speak, and I was like, well, that was a fucking horrible idea. How are you?
I'm not too bad. How are you going?
Yeah, I'm all right.
Are you working?
Well, I've had 3 excellent auditions this week, which I can't actually talk about, so I don't know why I said it, but
amazing.
It's been exciting, yeah.
Can you talk about whether they are TV or film or theatre?
One's a film. One's a film directed by Sam Mendes.
Oh, that'd be lovely, man. He makes some of my favourite theatre.
Yeah. One's a film, one's TV, and one's a tour, theatre tour.
Oh, brilliant. One of each.
It's a bit of everything.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Oh, well, good luck. I hope you land at least one. I hope you're in the position of having to pick.
Just one. That's what I want. Just one.
Yeah.
That'd be good. Someone wanted to know what I'm cooking. I'm cooking turkey keema peas.
What are keema peas?
Well, it's a sort of turkey mince curry with peas.
Ah, that sounds
it's nice.
Is it? I'm really like that.
And it's lean as well. It's good for you.
Oh, yeah, good for you. I've heard of that. That's like cheesy peas. Like that, right?
No. Oh,
cheesy peas.
Yeah.
Oh, look, Angelic Chris has arrived in the chat.
I find it remarkable that you can eat what you eat and still look like you do.
I know. Well, to be honest, mate, I don't look so good these days, really. This lighting is dim. But, even if it wasn't, I'd still be this yellow. It's not good. It's all coming back on me now. I have to eat. I have to completely avoid ultra-processed now.
Yeah.
Really miserable. I can't have hardly any junk food. If I do, I always get an upset stomach from it. Yeah, it's rough.
Oh.
So I am eating a little better. I'm cooking more. Bought an air fryer.
Where's Den gone?
I don't know. He was bathing his child, so he may have dropped his phone in the bath. Yeah, I know, right? Having children and all that. It does seem to occupy a lot of time.
Alexa, stop. Alexa's giving me hassle.
What I love about that is if anyone else had been controlling their Alexa at that point, you would have also taken over that one.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I didn't think about that.
I'm just scrolling through the chat, trying to...
I think she's a cow,
You think what?
I think Alexa's a fucking cow.
I tell you what, I use Google speaker stuff.
She just goes on and on.
Yeah, man.
And now, first thing in the morning, she'll go, you'll say, oh, can I have this bit of information? And she'll go, good morning, Chris. It's like, fuck off. Like, what if this was life or death and you're wasting time greeting me?
Imagine. Like, Alexa, open the vault.
Alexa,
hi, Chris. It's been a while.
Good morning, Chris. Shut up.
Alexa, I'm being murdered. How are you being murdered today, Chris?
Oh, right. Well, I do actually have to go because that was my food being ready.
Thank you for dropping in. Very lovely to see you.
Chat, you bunch of pricks.
Chat says bye, I'm sure. There we go. Bye, and a couple of oi-ois. There we go, and he's gone. Right, back to where we were. That was exciting, wasn't it? Upped the energy level of the chat, better than I can do on my own. Right, okay, here's a question. Right, yeah, I've done that one. Yes, yeah, we've done ass, cough sweets, yeah, dealt with that. Yes, Stacey, we've dealt with that. Is it important doing 10 seconds rule on frame or TV, don't care. I mean, you can a little bit longer. On frame. The 10-second rule is, I think, quite ruthlessly enforced by the so I would say you do have to follow that rule, except when we turn the clock off, at which point, like in time loop, you can kind of do what you want. When there's no audience meter, do what you want. What was the option of Philippa's hate and in addiction, Tommy's or Jeff's hate? Don't really understand that question, Maisel. Sorry, you're going to have to. Is that Maisel like Marvelous Mrs.? You're going to have to expand that for me. What was the option of Philippa's hate planned in addition to Tommy's or Jeff's hate? Oh, is that the name of the two scenes where Tommy's drinking and Jeff is just out of control? You'll have to ask Al that. I now understand that question, and it's about the sitcom. I know I've had to say this a few times tonight that you're going to have to ask Al, and it does sound like I'm just passing the buck, but I think that he decided 3 variants was enough to shoot and write. Who kidnapped Katie, though? Was it Alan? It was Disrupt. It wasn't Alan in person necessarily, I don't think. It is something they did say during past. Say, what doing Katie Brighton while Alan doing weird thing on TV? Yeah, but I mean, if she just dies, if Alan lives, even if it's in part D. Well, she may not be dead in Path D. She just doesn't end up Prime Minister. I don't think it's confirmed, is it, that she dies? I'm just saying that I think that's probably why she's not in those epilogues. Right. Everyone got cash. I didn't tell my agent. Fuck, are they getting 20% of my lossage? Funny fella, man. What brand, Chris? Somebody would say NFB isn't best game. I'd break their back. Thanks, Warden. Please don't break anyone's back. There's room for other games. Good that not like a Steam 30%. Yeah. Incident question should be towards Andy. Yeah, exactly. Andy wrote the instance, so it's hard for me to answer. As its flaws and criticism is always important. Yes, exactly. Yes, it's definitely deeply flawed, just like most art and most real life. Big Chris cooking. Joey wants anyone else to join him because he's feeling bored and lonely. I'm not feeling bored and lonely. I'm a very happy man. Don't paint me that way. We are never getting instant questions answered with anything other than it's up to you. Well, if there are 2 options, both are true, especially considering the legend of the terrible demo code. Yes. Jay, can we see more of the boil making process? I don't really know what you would want to see. I mean, I don't have much more. I think I've shown you all the deleted scenes from Time Loop. There are no deleted scenes from Boyle. They were just trimmed scenes. I've shown you the all of that thing, the beat board that we used. We don't have any behind the scenes footage, really. I don't have anything else really to show you. I'm happy to take any questions on it. Boyle, I really can answer. Dennis busy, can't relax on this time. Okay. Harsh truth, but a truth all the same. We're all getting older. Yes, we are. I recommend trying Dahl. Yes, absolutely try Dahl. It's gorgeous. Bye, Chris. Oi, 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 oi. Hey, lots of oi, ois for Chris. That's always nice. Just seen a man about 7 feet tall crawl under the turnstile to hop the train. At that point, you could step over it. Brilliant. Thanks, Julia. Thank you for sharing that. Oh, but where's the challenge of that? Yeah. And now, imagine if he'd limboed under it. That would have been fantastic, right? I think it's about the last noticeable interview. Yes, it was. People like to make it as difficult as possible. Yeah. Possibly been 7 feet tall. He's so used to duck under things. It's a force of habit. What does Peter mean in this phrase? Well, look, I'm sorry for the outburst, Miss Wolf. Julia thinks very highly of you, and I know you're not the one making the editorial decisions. Okay. I think that what Peter means there, Maisel, is that the player is making the editorial decisions. You, the player, not Miss Wolf, right? He says that to you if you've been doing editing decisions that he thinks frame advance in a bad light, right? So if the headline images you've been running, or if the way that you've edited the footage of them talking and etc. Basically, if you have done things that have made Disrupt less popular, then A, he's drinking more, obviously. B, he's quite angry with the channel. And that's also, for the player, supposed to be a lovely moment where you go, oh God, that's me, I did that. I'm the reason he's drinking. I'm the reason because I'm showing him in a bad light. I think it's interesting that Julia thinks very highly of Megan Wolf. I think she would. I think Julia is a big believer in empowering women. You know, I mean, she comes from a socialist background, right? She might be ruthless in her pursuit of it, and she might be cowardly in the way she wants to cover up her mistakes. But what she actually wants is to make a more equal world where there is not extreme poverty and extreme wealth. And she is prepared to go to, I would say, fairly horrifying lengths to get there. But nonetheless, that is what is happening. And I think she believes that women, strong women like Megan Wolf, who are talented and strong and intelligent and brilliant at their jobs, whether she agrees with them always or not, she would still champion them. There you go. Yeah, and as DJ says, it's directed towards Alex. It's a dig at, yeah, Alex, dig at you. What are the cut PT scenes from Boyle? We saw an Alan James, one of the PT notes, meaning Alan's bit got shafted in both of the DLC making processes. At least it got written for Time Loop, right? Alan didn't even get brought in the end for Boyle. So it must have been a very early PT scene idea. So I couldn't tell you. I don't know how that would even have worked because Alan James would have been a child. So maybe that was what I was going to do, bring him on as a little kid and have PT sort of make a prick of himself in front of him or fall on him or something. I don't know. I honestly don't know. It sounds fun though, don't it? I do like that. Sounds creepy because my name is Alex. No, your name is Mrs. Maisel. We've been through this. Is Patrick Bannon becoming a news host an absolute nightmare, or is it better than advanced controlled media? Well, I don't know, man. Like, would it be better if Donald Trump turns out he's evil, or is it better if he's just an idiot? Either way, it's pretty bad, I think. I think Bannon is an idiot, selfish, vainglorious, narcissistic, beautiful, hilarious idiot. And advanced controlled media, you know, that's no better, is it? That's Chinese government. That's you know, state controlled media isn't good, whether it be advanced or disrupt. State control in general is just not a great idea for media. Unfortunately, media needs some controls because otherwise it will just be owned by the super rich. So state-funded media, very good idea. State-controlled media, not so good. How old is Dave versus Jeremy versus Julia? Dave's in his 20s. Jeremy starts the game in his at least late 30s because he's been around for a while and he's popular. Julia is Emily Thornberry age, so I would say that Julia is probably in her early 30s when Bits of Your Life happens, and obviously boom, 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 do the math from there. That's my guess. I may have that written down somewhere, but those are my guesses. The game must be very effective for you. Yeah, that's why I love the game so much. I hope there are other reasons. You don't have to answer this concretely if they don't have a set age in mind. Just give us a range. Well, I hope that gave you enough of a range, Angelic Chris, because I can't give you much more than that. Baby James, Baby James, Baby James, Baby James. Don't really understand that. All right, Alan James, oh, Baby James. Yeah, Baby James in the crib. Joe, you almost break your Rule 7. I don't know what Rule 7 is. Oh, don't talk about real politics. Is it don't talk about real politics? Yeah, I don't think Trump counts as real politics. My current theory is that I think that he might end up to... God, what am I going to say this? I think he's going to turn out to be Sacha Baron Cohen, just doing a brilliant character. And we're all going to go, oh, of course, no one looks that orange. How did we fall for it? Yeah, it's going to be Sacha Baron Cohen's greatest ever character, I think. It's the only thing that makes any sense. But obviously, I may well have Trump derangement syndrome. So, Baby James, love it. As soon as Julia comes into power, she replaces all the guys, which is so real. I think that the transition from male to female power in the game is really interesting. I think that I think it's something that will happen in the world. The transition. I think women are, if on the BBC, which is all I base it on, the head of politics is female, Laura Koonsberg. She's the sort of chief political correspondent. Question Time, which is the big political show, is presented by a woman. The Daily Politics, the last two presenters in a row have been women. Basically, a lot, and Newsnight is presented by a woman 3 out of 5 nights of the week. So within British news, that transition has already happened, where women's voices are now much more prominent as journalists and trusted than men's are. And I think that's inevitable given the history of the world. I do think that we will see that within politics as well. And more we are. I hope. Right, okay. JJ wrote it down. It says there, we cracked the code. Why does Bozeman hate Jeff? Everyone, but he hates him. Why does he hate Jeff Algebra? Because Jeff Algebra is really horrible. Like, he's full of himself. He's over-familiar. He's over-familiar in a way that, some cultures are a little over-familiar, aren't they? Like, Americans can be a bit over-familiar. Apologies, no offense to our Atlantic cousins, but you guys, you don't have the reserve of the British. Maybe another way of looking at it is British people are quite reserved. Jeff is not. Jeff has no filter. He says things that you shouldn't say. He calls you by nicknames way before he should. He talks about only himself and his projects, and other than if he wants to make an observation about you that will no doubt be offensive, and every story he tells about himself makes him out to be horrible, and he doesn't realise it. So yeah, Bozeman hates him. Probably booked him once, found him annoying all day. Then Jeff started to become popular with Advance, so we had to have him back on. Then the government, it's probably come down from the board. Well, we have to have the notice book. Imagine how many meetings they had to have about the notice board with Jeff, and Bozeman would have had to be in. Oh, yeah, he hates him. Oh, he hates him. Yeah, 5 nights with woman's. Don't overthinking. Don't really get that. Not going to deal with that. Jeff is chopped. Don't know what that means. No, Jeff Algebra just annoyed, be a clown. Bozeman. Yeah, that's right. Nobody likes him. Okay, in time loop, says Lobster. Why does Julia end up with Henry McNair? Yeah, in Incisors universe. The reason for him is because I felt that the electorate, a slightly smarter electorate, would be more likely to go more middle of the road, right? Now, this is a universe where Incisors, like a show like Incisors, which is so up itself and so pompous and, Oxbridgey and all of those things like that Paxman is and and our guy is, right? If that's the most popular show in the country, and it's all about debate and realising that both sides have flaws, then I felt the impact of that politically on the populace would be a more centrist populace, able to see the good and bad on both sides. Therefore, a coalition of the left seemed to me to be more likely in a smarter universe. In fact, I think that as voting systems become less first past the postie and more PR-like and smarter, and electorates become smarter, we will see more coalitions. So I think that tracks. That's why. Why him? Because he's the third candidate, in the debates. So he would have got a bigger share of the vote. And also, he literally stole his wife from his bestie. Yeah, he did do that. The chop ho bird when he hears Jeff Algebra. Jeff was really annoying. Julia's like 38 beginning of the game, I think. Yeah, could be. And yeah, that would put, yeah. Yeah, she's had time to have a legal career. When you look at Keir Starmer, the current Prime Minister of Britain, he had time to do the McLibel trial before he joined the state as Director of Public Prosecutions, you know. And he's in his 50s now, I think. That sounds reasonable. She was an established lawyer. Oh, exactly, Ray. Yes, precisely. I wish I'd just read on before I'd said that. I am learning more than I ever anticipated I would about the UK law scene. I coded McNair as liberal, but set him to a kind of, yeah, I code him as middle of the road, a new Labour. I like this answer, the insider's question. Thank you, Lobster. Hate strong feeling. What if things like communism were in real life in NFP, wouldn't advance kill them? I bet they would. Right. Well, now, Gordon, what I'm about to say may be a little controversial, but I would suggest to you that the path advance take is not unlike the path of communism. Obviously, I am not saying that communists are blowing people up with nukes, because we don't have evidence of that. The only society that has ever done that is a capitalist one. But it is the trend of communism, or the trend of the left, that if you want equality for your state, a lot of people don't want to do that game, and so you need to quite a large force to enforce that. I think that human nature fights against communism and fights against Marxism, and I say this as a fairly committed Marxist. I think communism and Marxism work on the smaller scale for me. Like, I do believe in the workers owning the means of production. I think that's very sensible, but only at smaller levels. I think you need hierarchy as well. I think we need structure. I think if two people work in the same job and one of them works really hard and does 100 widgets a day, and the person next to them kind of dosses around and regularly takes breaks and like scrolls their phone all day and only makes 20 widgets, I don't think it's unfair that the one who worked harder should get paid more or should end up richer, right? So I don't believe in equality of outcome. I believe in equality of opportunity. I think if we can provide everyone an equal opportunity, then if you choose to squander it, that is your right. And if you choose not to take advantage of it, that is also your right. But I don't believe in societies where there should be no opportunity. So what I am saying is advance and communism wouldn't be that far apart, wouldn't look that different when you're living in them. I think, even though there are wonderful things, because communist societies do wonderful things. Look at what China has achieved. Look at the modernity of their cities, you know. Every system has strengths as well as weaknesses. There's no good guys and bad guys. There's no right and wrong in this world. There is just shades of grey and pros and cons. I used to know an incredibly wise woman, and I'm back with this. She used to say the truth is a sphere, and we all stand around it. And no human, no matter how good their sight, can ever see more than half. So what you want to look for in life, she would have contended, were friends who stand on the other side of the sphere, because they see stuff that you can't, right? And if you want to go into a career as a writer or in the arts, you need to try and understand, right? It is very hard to square the fact that 50% of the world votes completely differently to you. 50% of most societies believe differently to each other. And yet, it's not the case that 50% of the people we meet are awful, right? Nearly everyone we meet is really nice. People are nice. They don't want to hurt each other in the main, bar a few psychopaths. The vast majority of humans are really nice, and unless you kind of back them into a corner or threaten the people that they love, put them under incredible duress. But in the main, people are nice, right? So the opposite side, the people, if you're a right-winger, the people on the left that you dismiss as lunatics, they're clearly not lunatics. You know them, you know these people, you know some of them. And the people on the left, all these people on the right that we We try and dismiss as evil, they're not evil. They believe in individual freedom and responsibility more than they believe in equality. Doesn't make them evil. Just because we disagree with somebody, if it's so important. It's just so important that we learn to communicate across that sphere again, because otherwise we're going to throw sticks at each other, and by sticks I mean nukes. So I am at that point going to wrap though, because it is 1 minute to 7. I have still got to go back to work because I've still got some stuff I need to do on my new game. I'm doing a play test tomorrow, which is kind of exciting. To make a build. So I'm going to say thank you all, both for coming along, but also, like so many of you have been here right through, and I really appreciate that. That's really nice, especially when I'm doing it mainly on my own, because I feel like I'm very boring, because the only voice I'm hearing is me. Like that. So I will be back next month, hopefully with some of the other boys. And if not, I will take any questions you have. Lobster, your questions are excellent. Please never stop asking and challenging. That's really important. That's important for all of you. Don't stop asking and challenging anyone at any time. I genuinely love all of you. It's fantastic. I love all of you. I've never met half of you. I love that you're here. It's really nice. What I mean is I'm touched by that. The next stream will be drum roll. I'm looking at May. Oh no, that's a bank holiday again in May. So we will be looking at May the 11th. Okay. And I think it will be at 6 o'clock. I think actually it kind of works better at 6 o'clock. And as I haven't yet begun rehearsals for my summer show, I think we will go May the 11th at 6 o'clock for the next stream. The one after that, God only knows, because then I'm back in rehearsal for what I think might be quite a good show. I like the 6 p.m. slot. It does make my day a little longer, but I'm a little bit more relaxed. Right, love to you all. See you again. Be well, be happy, stay thinking. Don't accept any shit you read on social media. Love you. Bye.